Okay, good morning. I'm so sorry that I did not even communicate with you on Tuesday. It was a really rough day. I am the executor of the will, and so I have a million details to take care of. My mother has a very large, very full house that I am having to make arrangements for. I hope to list it on Friday, but we have been able to kind of clear out many things, or at least clear it up so that we could so that I could get pictures taken to have it on the market. And the day absolutely just got away from me. If you'd have asked me what day it was on Tuesday, I might not even remember it was Tuesday. So I apologize. I'll do 2 recordings today to make up for that. I'm going to be starting on page in your big, the big red book like this. If you don't have it later, I may have to stop this for a moment. Later, I will upload a copy. So let me stop this and take a picture before I write on it, because I absolutely need to do that so that you can take care of that. So I'm going to pause recording. I'll be right. All right, I'm back. I'm glad I thought of that before I did it and wrote on my only copy here, because I think I only have one, excuse me, ACT book here. But I am on page 76. I'm going to work a Humanities. We haven't worked one of those yet together, so that's the one I'm going to do. Give me just a second. I will share my screen so we can see the same thing while you turn to page 76. Fine line between we need light, but we don't need too much light, right? Okay, so here we go. This is, I'm really set up. This is on page 76. It's the story passage of Humanities. Like we always say, we're going to read the introduction. This one in particular says, the passage is adapted from the article Read My Lips. I'm going to underline Read My Lips. That's the name of it. If I had known anything about it, that would help me know more. And I do not know how to pronounce this name. This is a chick bar. I don't know. Call it whatever you want, but this is who it is. If I recognize the name, it's going to help me. That one doesn't help me at all. Copyrighted in 2012. We've talked about that, fairly recent, in Harper's Magazine Foundation. Okay, I know Harper's Magazine. It's kind of like classic. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. Usually very rich people read this. Very affluent, very well-educated people do. It's a very highly regarded magazine article. So I'm already thinking, ooh, okay, this is kind of that hoity-toity-ish kind of thing, or that's their audience at least. I don't know that the article is going to be like that, but I do know that's the publication it is put in. Excuse me, let me get a drink close because I'm already getting like that. My mother, I don't think, has dusted in many years, so everything I touch has dust, and I'm just coughing constantly. Pardon me on that. All right, so once we get there, we know we're going to read the first paragraph-ish. All right, when I glancingly look at this first paragraph is not that long, and the next one come below, it's not that long. I'm going to go ahead and mark. Remember, I mark everything I read. I'm going to go ahead and mark that first paragraph, because to me, I'm going to read at least that. I may need to read more. Sometimes I might get halfway through, but if it's a short paragraph like that, I most likely am going to read the whole thing. All right, so here we go. Filmmakers have debated the respective merits of subtitles and dubbing since the earliest sound films. In The Impossible Life of Clark Costa, published in 1940. Okay, this was published in 1940. It might be important for me to know that later. And filmmakers do something that might be important. 1940, in the film journal Cinema, directed by Michelangelo. Okay, there's a name. I'm going to underline any names, dates, places, right? Wrote that Romola Costa, remember, I'm not stressing over names, this R. Costa guy, The person who dubbed all of the actor Clark Gable's performances, dubbed, might have to come back to that word again, was a hybrid individual born out of chemical combination. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Okay, it's going to explain it next. This is half Clark, half Costa. Okay, dubbed is when you go over on sound. I know that in a normal sense. I'm not sure that it is, but this makes it sound like he's going to do the voiceovers for Clark Gable, and then he's himself. So he's like a split personality, I think is what they're saying. Was bearable to Antonio, all right, whoever the guy is, right, who considered dubbing to be a mere acoustic surrogate. Okay, he's a surrogate. He's a fill-in acoustically of acting. To him, dubbing compromised the intention of the director, leading an artificial product that lacked artistic unity. The director, Pierre, I might need to know this name, and he's a director, Pierre Pablo somebody, who called both dubbing and subtitles evils. Okay, he called them evils. This guy thinks they're good, or at least they're important. This guy says they're evil. That said, between the two, dubbing was the less harmful, since it allowed you to see the picture in full. Director Jean Noir called dubbing a monstrosity, a challenge to human and divine laws. Monstrosity means something that's just horrific. Wow. It's really bad. All right. So we've got some varying opinions on dubbing from filmmakers, directors, dubbing people. That's what I'm guessing this is. Read my lips is going to come from. Now I'm getting it. Not reading between the line or read exactly what my lips say. This is about dubbing. So then the next thing I'm going to do is, I feel like I have pretty good lay of the land. I'm going to go to my questions. Now, keep this in mind. I'm always going to go look here. It's always going to start with a 1, whether it be 21, 31, 11, whatever it is, 1 in the single digit. So if I go to the next page and I know that it starts with 3, right, then I know I've missed some. So I'm going to start with 1 always. The last sentence in the passage primarily serves to illustrate the passage author's central claim that, all right, let's couple things about that particular, let's get that better, scoot it back, about that particular question. First off, it's in the last paragraph. I have not read the last paragraph. Anytime I want to know the main idea, I'm going to want to read the last paragraph and the first paragraph. So it's not a bad idea to go ahead and read this at this point. But it says the last sentence. Remember, I read it through once. What am I really asking? The last sentence serves primarily to illustrate. When I see the word illustrate, I know that means I need to see a picture in my mind. If I do not see a picture in my mind when I read it, on these answer choices, it is not going to be one of my correct answer choices. The author's central claim, so basically it's saying the last paragraph indicates what the claim is. Go read it. See what works. I might go in and just read the last one. Now, where does it actually end? Okay. Leaving the day's recording session, Ward told me he was off to have dinner with actress Meg Ryan. Okay, we all know who Meg Ryan is, right? Or hopefully most of us do. Harry Met Sally, some other big ones. I can't think of them right now. Before raising an eyebrow and clarifying, with Meg's dubber. Okay, is he really having dinner with Meg Ryan? No, with Meg's dubber. I am having dinner with Meg Ryan's voice. Okay, so he literally is not having that dinner with Meg Ryan, but with the one who has her voice. All right. I may or may not need to read the rest right now. I'm thinking, oh, I do get a visual. Yeah. Here's this woman sitting across from me who may have red hair and be 200 pounds, which is the complete opposite of Meg Ryan, who is maybe 110 pounds and has very blonde hair. This is not what's, I'm getting a visual. Yes, you're sitting there, but it's Meg Ryan's voice. Okay. So let's see. Do I get a picture from any of these? A dubber wants others in the film industry to respect the actor he or she usually dubs. Is our person an actor. No, it says leaving the days. It doesn't. That's not what it's about. It's about this guy's having dinner with somebody who sounds like Meg Ryan, but it's not Meg Ryan, the real Meg Ryan. That one is not, and I don't get a picture when I hear that one. The work of Ryan's dubber is effective as that of Jackson's dubber. Well, let's hope she's effective. That's what she is. Do I get a picture? No. A dubber begins to seem almost like a hybrid of him or herself as the actor he or she dubs. Am I getting a picture there? Is this person sitting in front of me sound like Meg Ryan, but doesn't look like Meg Ryan? I'm sort of getting a picture there, and that is similar to what I'm thinking the theme is. I put that here for answer possibility. I look at D. Ward is unlike many dubbers in that he prefers to dub many different actors. Do we know about this guy dubbing many different actors? No, we don't. So there's no way. Okay, I didn't realize this. I have not worked this one. I'm working it literally as we do. I normally say I always work them, but I don't have time right now. So what I've done here, I've eliminated 3, so I know. I sort of like C, and I'm going to go with it. And I'm going to, yes, and it is C. Okay, I'm trying not to look at the answers till I'm done, but now I know I've got that one. That one was not hard. We did not read all of it. We only read the bottom. Sometimes I might have gone back to read the rest of the paragraph above just because it is the last paragraph, but I got a good idea from that one. I didn't really need to at this point. Then we move on to number 22. It can reasonably be inferred. Remember, I said that's a stop, slow down, get this one right. It's higher points. It can reasonably be recorded. I'm just wondering, did I hit record again? I think I did. It can reasonably be inferred from the passage that regarding whether dubbing is useful or valuable, Valero, whatever his name is, would most strongly sympathize with the views of who? Okay, it's got too many names. I've heard some names, but I don't know. I am not going to confuse myself at this point. I'll come back to that one. I'll get used to most of those names. But what it's also telling me, every time I read a person's name, I need to circle it, mark it some kind of way, because I need to decide which one of these is going to be most like this guy. I don't think I've read that name yet, but I don't even worry about it. Can I answer that one now? No, so I'm not spending my time there. I am moving on. I go to number 3. The main function, and you'll get a lot of these with the ACT, not as much in the SAT, but they like this in ACT world. A little bit bigger because I'm having trouble reading it, quite frankly. The main function of the second paragraph, okay, we haven't read that, but now we're going to lines 18 to 33, is for the passage author to present, okay, what is he trying to present? He or she, her own ideas, a perspective, Fellini's personal something, or a claim, all right? I don't even need to read the rest of those. Those are 4 succinctly different things. So I'm going to simply go and look at the second paragraph and read it. I'm looking for is what I read. Is this her own ideas, a perspective, Fellini's personal something, or a claim? So let's read it. All right. Scooch this up a bit. Here is the second one, and I guess that's why I had it out, so it wasn't quite so much. All right, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and mark it. I know I'm reading the whole thing. Director Federico Fellini, and I do remember down here, he was one of these guys, right? Down in number 22. So I might even go put number 2, paragraph 2, just so I remember that. Did not agree with any of them. Okay, he didn't agree with any of him. Something said, who would he sympathize with? This other guy. So probably it's not going to be this guy. Or I don't know. I just know now I got to pay attention to that one. I didn't agree with any of them. Dubbing was an extension of his shoots. Okay, he says dubbing was an extension and he didn't agree. A technique he would use to retouch and rewrite. His mercilessly dubbed over his actors, changing dialogue in post-production, sometimes having worked without a script. He reportedly instructed his actors to count aloud in front of the camera so that he could insert new dialogue afterward. This guy, a new person to us, a veteran, Fetellini dubber, told me that during the filming of this movie in 1973, I might want to know that, he witnessed Fetellini, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, it's who I'm saying today, ask an old Neapolitan lady to tell him a sad story over footage of this woman recording a tragic tale about her grandson. Fetellini added a new soundtrack about the war and hunger and recorded by an actor from this person. I don't know, maybe that's a place, probably, right? Combining the vivid expressions of the South with his favorite Northern accent. Okay, this guy loved dubbing because he could make it whatever he wants. Remember, he is a director. The director wants to make it whatever he wants. So, what now did we just hear from that? Did we hear his perspective or her own ideas? Are these her own ideas? Remember our, do we know that? I don't know. Oh, yeah, we do. Well, we kind of do. I was looking back to see if it is a woman. I don't really know if that is or not, but I know an A in a lot of languages means the familia or female. So I'm going to assume. Did we hear her ideas in that particular passage that we just read? No, she was telling Fetellini's. So I don't think that's it. Okay, 23, B. A perspective on dubbing that bluntly counters those outlined in the first paragraph. Does it counter? It absolutely did, because it said this guy didn't feel like anything in the first paragraph was right. So that one's a good one. I don't know if it's the right answer, but at least I can't get rid of it. Remember, we're not really looking for the right answer at this point. We are looking to eliminate incorrect answers, and then we'll go back and see what could be the correct answer. All right. Fetellini's personal direct response to this guy's criticism. Did we hear him say what, like a rebuttal to his criticism? No, we did not. It said what he liked to do. All right, a claim centered on Fetellini's work that strengthened the argument that is made in the first paragraph. Absolutely not, because the first paragraph, we said already it was in contrast. So this one in particular came out to be pretty easy. Let's make sure we're right. 23 is B. So we got that one right. I knew it was in contrast, so I moved forward. All right. The anecdote about Fetellini's footage of a woman recounting the tragic tale. Yay, we've already read that in lines 25 to 33. Primarily serves to, well, is it to explain, to provide, to illustrate, or to show? Now, remember, I told you this. Anytime I get a picture in my mind that I can see something happening, 9 times out of 10, maybe even 9.9 times out of 10, it's going to be that one. When we read that, did you get a picture of this old woman sitting there reading? Yes, I did. So my inclination is already going to be on H. I may even go read it. Illustrate the extent to which dubbing was a part of Fetellini's craft. Yes. He went to the extent to ask her to tell a sad story and then used. Absolutely, I like that one. Now I'm right here, so maybe I'll just read J. To show why he preferred his actors to follow a script rather than tell their own stories. Did he prefer them to follow the script? No, it's what it said. He would come up with the script later. That is not a true statement no matter what. Go back to F. Explain why Fetellini preferred to feature voices with Northern accents in his film. Did he need a Northern accent in this film? This particular one, yes. But does it say he preferred them all the time? No. And they're trying to get you on that because you picked up on the Northern accent. That doesn't mean he wanted it. It does not say he always wanted Northern accents, because obviously that wouldn't work. Provide a famous example of Fetellini closely following the scripted dialogue. Did he follow the scripted dialogue? No, we did the opposite. The woman said a story about her grandson. He put different words in there. Guess what? It is H, and we're moving on. Now, why do I put the big old checks? I think most of you have heard me say this enough. We put the big old checks for lots of reasons. It keeps us straight. I am not right now going to mark the answer in the answer book. the answer sheet. I'm going to wait till I get all 10 done. I want this whole story done before I do that. Then it also helps me to keep straight which ones, because I'm going to jump around. Remember, we didn't do this one. So we want to make sure we know that one's not been done. We got to come back to it. It also helps build that confidence. When I'm looking at this, and I already have this one and this one and this one, and I might be, say, 5-10 minutes into this. Remember, I only need 5. That's all you really need on an ACT to pass. I just need 5 out of 10, and I've already got 3, and I'm only 10 minutes in. Remember, we want to spend, with this extended time ACT, about 26 minutes per passage. That's what it works out to be. When you get the triple time, you can spend about 26 minutes. I've only spent, let's just call it 5, and I've already got 3 answers. I'm more than halfway there. It helps build that confidence. When we're building confidence and we feel good about things, we know you're going to do better. When you got on a cute outfit or a new hairdo or new shoes, whatever it is, you know you have a better day. Build on that. All right, moving to the next one. As Cortese, and it seems like I remember that name, but I don't remember who it is right now, is presented in the passage, does he agree? Okay, Cortese is a man. Does he agree with the passage's author's assumption about the reason for dubbers? Does he agree with the reason for dubbers? Over the top zest. Over the top zest. We don't know what that means, but it's telling us that. Would he agree with this statement in line 34? I haven't read line 34. If it ever tells me where it is, I'm going to go find out. I go look at my passage. In line 34, oh, it's the very first one. If you visit the dubbing studio, the over-the-top zest of actors is evident in everything from their melodramatic speech to their movements. Okay, I've read that much. I might need to read on. What did I really need to know here? Does this guy agree with the over-top zest? Well, right off, I don't remember seeing that name. So I'm going to continue to read to see if the name's in here. It is evident over everything from the melodramatic speech to their movements. Standing in front of the microphone, they coil and twitch. I asked Cortese, here we go, whether this was a consequence of having to focus one's lifelong talent into a few centimeters between mouth and microphone, a kind of bodied rebellion to the condition of being heard and not seen. And he laughed. All right. If he thought it was that and he laughed. Of course, it isn't easy to spend a life in the darkness, but this is hardly the reason why they twitch and turn. Dubbers are usually used to reciting while trying to recreate the body sensations of what they see on the screen before them. If there is running in the film, they will run on their feet. Moving, he explained, is the result of recreating the large movements in the spaces. Okay, I understand more. Would he agree with something? All right, we understand where we are. Make sure we mark that we read the whole thing. Let's go back and look. Would Cortese, when he's presented, does he agree with the passage authors? No, he doesn't agree because he laughed. That's my first initial reaction. He laughed. So to me, it's not a yes or a yes. All right. I might come back to those, but as far as yes, I'm going to get rid of it. He laughed, right? You're full of it kind of thing. So let's go read the no's. No. And he gruffly makes it clear. Did he grouch? I didn't really hear that. That she does not understand the dubber's work. No, he went on to explain it. So I don't think it's that one. No, and he corrects her misinterpretation. Yes, he did correct her with an explanation. And I just said the word explanation. He explained. All right. When you hear, I have not worked this one, guys. So when you hear your own words being repeated, you know you're good. I'm going to say D. Now let me go check it. And 25 is D. We got another one right. If you'll use some of these techniques and just practice, you'll be doing it just the same way I am. All right. In most cases, it can most reasonably be inferred. Same thing, inferred. Get it right. Slow down. This is an important one, right? From the passage that the Metropolitan Cinema cinema on this road on Via del Cascorso. Now, this was a person. We don't know what that's going on. Was known for showing his films that had been, okay, we got to go know more about him. Dubbed only, subtitled, both dubbed and subtitled, or neither dubbed nor, wait a minute. Except for the name throwing me off a little bit, I might be able to answer this one because I know he did a lot of dubbing, right? I don't think he did exclusive dubbing, but let's go back and see if we see his name this way. Are we talking about the same person here? No, this is a different Cortese. This is Ronaldo or Renato. All right, so we don't know about the person that they're talking about now. So I'm going to skip it. That's why it's important to put those names in bold so you can come back. All right, coming back to 27 or going to 27. The passage most strongly suggests that at movie houses in Italy, all right, movie houses in Italy today, and that's important, compared to subtitle original language films, dubbed films that can be, all right, we don't know anything about that, right? I'm not even going to read those quite yet because I haven't heard about movie houses in Italy. When I do, I'm coming back to this one. 28. The passage indicates that a foreign film with which of the following characteristic is particularly difficult to dub. Okay, what is difficult to dub? Have I heard that yet? No. Foreign film. A foreign film. I haven't heard about it. I'm moving on. 29. According to the passage, don't get flubbed up on that kind of stuff because obviously, yes, it's in the passage. The work of dubbing director Villaro, and that's the one we read about, I believe. Villano. I'm looking back. Maybe a little bit. We haven't heard about him a lot though. Differs from most other Italian directors, and that Villaro does what? He focuses. He does not necessarily match. He works mostly with prima donna, or he does not believe that the dialogue should be something. All right. I don't know that. I've got these names are kind of going haywire in my mind right now. I'm going to have to go look that up later. All right, the last one, number 30. As it is used in lines 16 and 17, the phrase a challenge to most nearly means. Now, when you get ones that most nearly means, I really don't want you to read those first. Go read the line and find out first and then come back. It's when we get to the SAT, you'll understand this even better or more profoundly, but don't read those. If you do, your mind decides one. It's basically, it's like a vocabulary, right? It's got more words, but it's a vocabulary. What is it asking you? Your mind will already go to one. So I absolutely put my hand over or cover it. I know I need to go to line 16 and 17, which is at the end. We're looking for a challenge to. Okay. It says, since it allowed you to see a picture in full, director Jean Norvois called dubbing a monstrosity, a challenge to human and divine laws. A challenge, which means an objection, right? If it's in a challenge to human divine laws, if it's against or a challenge or objection, that's what I usually try to do. Come up with a couple of keywords. What does that really mean? Something that goes against human laws, right? Why would I think if I'm looking at the screen that it's not Meg Ryan saying that? How would I even know, or why would I think that it might be someone else using those words? All right, those two, an objection or against. That's the answer I'm looking for. Oh, okay. An assault on, it could mean that. It's a possibility. A declaration of, that would mean like an agreement to. It's not that. It's not agreement. A question for, it's not a question. An offer to, nope. So guess what? An assault on the human laws. Some kind of, I forgot exactly what it said. To human and divine laws. Boom. That one did not, sorry, I covered it up. That one did not take us that long. Now, we do have what, 4 or 5 we've got to go to, but let's concentrate on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 2 from the front page. We've already got our 5 if we got them right. Please make sure that you're paying attention to the time and how much more you have. When I started this, I should have said it. Let's say we started this one at, let's say 10:05. That means if I spend 26 minutes, I know I should be finished at about 10:31. I'm going to pay attention, wear a watch that day. I don't know if they'll have a room. They have to have a clock in the room, but it might not be easy for you to see. But at about 10:31, I need to be done. Something close to that. If you're 3 minutes over one way or the other, 5, it's okay. But just know that takes away from another one, right? If you go over, if you're under, it's good as long as you're spending enough time. So let's just say we're at like 10:15 at this point, which probably would be about right. I know I've got plenty of time to answer these last ones. I'm going to leave number 2 alone because these names are all running together for me. So why don't I go find, usually I work backwards. I will tell you this. In an ACT, if the answer to number 1's here, usually the answer to number 2 is following below, and the answer to number 3 is below that. Not always, but they usually fall in order of the passage. So if I go start using these, I'm probably going to go backwards on my passages or my paragraphs. Sorry, I'm probably making you dizzy. I have a smaller desk that has constraints where I can't move through there. I need a big table. I may move downstairs for later, but didn't for now. All right, so let's go look at this one. Valerio, Italian directors. Let's just see. Right off the bat, I might glancingly see, hey, I only read that. Why don't I go back and read the whole last paragraph? Maybe I'll get some insight. In 2007, I met a dubber, Luca Ward, who provided the voice of narrator of a romantic comedy I wrote, something, okay, amore. Sorry, but I love you. What I didn't then know was that everyone Ward met wanted him to recite actor Samuel L. Jackson's Ezekiel 25:17 passage from Pulp Fiction. Okay, Samuel L. Jackson, we haven't heard about him, but I'm underlining those. And that I should consider it an honor that he would offer to perform to a performance to a stranger. When he finally did recite this monologue, it was astonishing. Every dramatic pause carefully timed and every word perfectly enunciated. I understood that if anyone took Samuel L. Jackson away from Ward, it would have meant taking away a part of his soul. He was, as Antonio, and that name, would say, half Ward, half Jackson. Leaving the day's recording session, Ward told me, okay, that didn't really help me. That's okay. I'm still going to go ahead. I'm going to go maybe to my next one. I'm going to read this, see if anything helps me here. This guy, Valerio, but not V-A-L, V-A-I. Is that who we're looking for? Yes, that's who we're looking for in 29. Okay, what's our question? He differs with other Italian directors because, all right, this guy, a dubber and dubbing director known for adapting foreign films, considered to be undubbable, such as the French box office hit this name, Welcome to the Sticks, 2008, which relies on linguistic misunderstandings for much of its comedy. Explained that actors become just as attached to their parts as the audiences do. This person has been one of the few directors to break the habit of matching the same Italian dubber to foreign actor in all his films, preferring instead to select a dubber according to the requirements of the role. And he admits he was hated by, he differed. He was hated by all the prima donna dubbers for this. If you take that actor away from them, he told them, they will insult you. Okay, so he definitely differed. Let's go read it again. It said the dubber director differs from most Italian directors because he focuses on dubbing French films into Italian. Is that what we just heard? That he only does French films into Italian? No, we did not hear that. He does not necessarily match the same Italian dubber to the same foreign actor. We did hear that. He doesn't have to have an Italian actor to do it. He just needs somebody who sounds like that, right? We heard that. Works mostly with prima donna. No, it said the opposite. He does not work with prima donnas. He does not believe that dialogue should be rewritten during a dubbing session. We didn't hear anything about that. So what I'm going to do is say it is B, and let's check it. And it is B. Boom, we're moving on. All right. The passage indicates that foreign film, which of the following characteristics is primarily difficult to dub. We just heard that. What was most difficult? If I look back, it's most difficult to do from one language to the other, right? Yeah. Realize, all right, so it's different. It's difficult to change languages. So linguistic misunderstanding. Oh, and created in comedy. And that's what it did say. For sure, it said something about comedy. Of its comedy. Let's read that sentence again. Which relies on the linguistic misunderstandings for much of its comedy. Boom, that's one. I don't know if it's the right answer, but that was definitely true. Dramatic action that involves a plot. We haven't heard a thing about plot. We've only heard about the voices. Reverse chronologically. We didn't hear anything about doing things out of order. Or extensive monologues that further characterizations. They don't really do characterizations. We're just trying to sound like them. Pardon me. This is somebody coming to pick something up. Okay. That one, my first instinct was good and correct. Let's see if it was. Yes, it is F. So this is correct. All right, 27. The passage most strongly suggests that at movie houses in Italy today, compared to the subtitle, original language films dubbed in, okay, we don't know. We need to know about Italian movie houses, and we have not heard that at all. But if you glance back at your paper, we've read a heck of a lot of this. It's got to be right here. This is the only paragraph we haven't really read. And when you're having 26 minutes, I do want you to read what you need to read. Don't read it if you don't. But in this particular case, we're reading it all. We're reading this and the little bit at the bottom. So why not go read it? And remember, we want to know about Italian movie houses. There are still a few options for those seeking to watch subtitle original language films at a movie house in Italy. Okay, in movie houses in Italy, you can still have some options. The Metropolitan Cinema on Val del Carano. That wasn't a name. That was a something. I know that's a question. Let's come back to that. Closed recently after a long battle involving intellectuals, show business people, and American and the British expats in Rome, to be replaced with a clothing store. Italians remain hooked on dubbing, perhaps because of the simple amount. Italians remain hooked on dubbing. They like it. All right, because of the simple affection. Familiar voices yield emotional attachment. Familiar voices for attachment. All right, so now let's go back and read. At movie houses in Italy today, what happens? They're still doing it, right? They match more easily. Yeah, because they're still doing it. Okay, I had to kind of think that one through. But I think I'm not going to take it out. They're about as easy. Okay, the original language in films, dubbed films can be about as easy. Much more easy. I think it was not as easy, but I think it's because I like A, I'll take B out. I didn't not like B, but because I have A, that's a better one. Slightly less easy and Okay, so I think it is easier. They think it's easier. So I'm going to go with A, and A is correct. Okay, we just have two more. Go down to the bottom. There we go. The Via del Corso, right? I thought that might have been a person, but it's not. I now know. The Metropolitan Cinema on Val del Corso closed recently after a long battle with the intellectual subdivision. Okay, it closed. What are we going to say? It can most reasonably be inferred from the passage that the Metropolitan Cinema, okay, was known for showing the films that have been dubbed. Right? Subtitled only. Oh, wait a minute. Let's read it again. Nope. Let's read it again. There are still a few options for those seeking to watch subtitled. I about messed up. Subtitled. The original movie films in Italy, the Metropolitan, had been closed because they didn't like them subtitled. Okay, so it's not dubbed. I think it might be subtitled. Both dubbed and subtitles could be. Or this. Okay, my thought process is it's either this or this. I don't hear anything about dubbing here. It only talks about subtitles. So I am going to go with the subtitled only because that's what I read many times, especially when it tells you exactly where to look and what's being talked about. If it's not in that particular paragraph, you probably don't need to include the information. That's what it's going to be. I think it's G. Let me go now look. And it is G. Okay, good. That one, I almost messed that up because I'm thinking, oh, we're talking all about dubbing. Go back and read like I did to catch myself. Now is the harder one. All right, keeping all these people straight. It can reasonably be inferred from the passage that regarding whether dubbing is useful or vague, Valerio Verlino, which one is that one? Would most strongly sympathize with the views of this. We got to read, find out. Oh, yeah, there was Valerio, a dubber and dubbing director. He loved dubbing. Oh, yeah. He loved dubbing, right? Has been one of the few directors to break the habit of matching the name. He doesn't even care if you don't speak the language, just sound like it. He loved dubbing, all right? So let's just try Antonio. Or we'll see who we see first. I know we circled Renata. Nope, that's not the same name. Fetellini, let's go with that one. Fetellini didn't agree with any of them. Dubbing was an extension of his shoots. Ooh. He would use to retouch his shoot. Yeah, he liked dubbing. The other guy liked dubbing. All right, I don't know if that one's right or not. That just happened to pop out. Another name, Renor and Antonio. This is the kind of thing that it's just going to take time. Cortesi is not on there. Every name I look for is not on there right now. There's Antonio. Maybe we need to make sure we knew that at that point we had lots of names. This guy, published in 1940, he wrote about the person who dubbed all of the actors' performances. Okay, he completely does dubbing. He says all. Oh, wait. Is he a dubber? No, he is a writer or director. Okay. So it could be that or that. I don't even remember seeing the Pasali. It's those two are choices. I would probably sit here and go through and find the other two names, but in my mind, I think it's one of these two. So this one did it all. This one did a whole lot of it. The other guy didn't do it all, but he did do a whole lot of it. I would probably not spend forever on this. I would probably go with that one, and I have not looked at that answer. I'm not sure if it is. Our guy said he liked a lot of dubbing, and I don't care if you even speak the language, just sound like it. Or either he does an awful lot of it. I'm going to go with 22, and it is G. G is in. All right, so now we've done all of them. Let me move this so I can see you. You can see me. Not that it really matters to stop sharing, but just so you know, it is me here. That concludes what we need to do for this particular one. I think we are good to go. In 26 minutes, if you can get 5 of them, then when you put your big old check, you might not always have it correct, but you will have most of them correct, especially if you continue to do this over and over. If you have other questions, let me know. I'm going to do another class in a bit. I'm going to take a little break. I've got several things. My phone's gone off like crazy this little time. I'm going to do the natural science one, the one that starts on page 76. If you want to work that one, and then watch the next video that I make so that you can check it. Or if you want to do the one before and the one after, and then do this one with me. But what I would like to see from you is when you do work the other ones, let's just say we got 7 out of 10 and then check them. 7 out of 10. Tell me what you did. Now, to find the answers, I think most of you have gotten used to how to do that, but it just falls. Here's my big book. It just falls right behind there under the gray part. This one in particular, the reading is going to be on, let me make sure it's right. Yep, 102. Page 102 has the answers. So try not to look until you do it like I did today, because I had not worked that one. If you do them in order, it keeps you a little better, because it's just too easy to go find out. And like I usually say, I would, for you in particular, I would work all the 10 and then I would go check them. And if I got it wrong, I'd put an X, because you're not going to remember, was it C or B? Put an X and then go back and rework it. Think through in your mind, what did I think? What do I need to change so that I can get this right later? All right. Thank you again for being patient with me. I'm so sorry that this has happened at a time right before your test. I do plan to be back by October 3rd, at least at this point. And I'll be in class. I'll be doing live again. Maybe that's October 4th, I guess it is. And then I will be in class. What does that make it? Whatever that Thursday is, like October 5th, if that's 3rd, 4th, yeah, or 6th, I guess it is. Whatever that Thursday is, I'll be back in class. That's my plan for right now. If something changes, I can't get enough done this week and next, and I have to put it off another week, I'll let you know. But as of right now, that would give you a few weeks with me in person and live on film on a Zoom, so that we can work through some of these. Thanks again for all your support and your understanding. Take care.